This is Island Beach State Park. I've been coming here since I was a child. Many fond memories of hanging out with friends and family, fishing. What's so unique about this place is it's the only pristine beach. It's about 7 miles long. It's the only area of New Jersey that hasn't been built up with homes and hotels and boardwalks and whatever, and you can take truck campers out here. You're supposed to be out here fishing, enjoying wildlife. At the end of the day, you can stay overnight, you can have a campfire. It's truly spectacular.
This is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel here in Island Beach State Park, New Jersey, and I just bumped into Ed. Ed's gonna give us a full tour inside and out of this Phoenix pop-up truck camper for a Cybertruck, and wait till you see this thing. It is amazing, so join us for the tour.
Thank you so much, Patrick. Well, this is it, what you were talking about here, the Cyber Phoenix. This is made by Phoenix Pop-Up, but the actual term of this camper is called the Cyber Phoenix. And if you're not familiar with truck campers, this is gonna function like every regular truck camper that's ever been built, although it's on the first electric pickup truck from Tesla. Where to begin? First of all, the design of this thing is quite unique. As I said, it's the first one ever made. This is aluminum, this is stainless steel. If you don't know anything about the stainless steel of the Cybertruck, this is actually the same steel that's used for the rockets that they're sending to Mars. Same thing. It's bulletproof, it's impervious to small dents and so forth, and so why not make it of a similar color? And so this is aluminum. The shape of it is extremely important. So anyone knows anything about electric cars, range can be a factor, particularly when you're towing something or have a heavy load. We are seeing with this camper almost no loss of range. Like literally, there's no change in your behavior. I can drive this thing. It goes about 310 miles regularly. On the highway doing 70, it'll do about maybe 270 miles. By that time, you're ready to go to the bathroom or stop and get something to eat. But it is, obviously this is a pop-up and it's popped up now. It goes up about 3 feet higher than what it regularly is. But this allows the wind to come up and then go over. And essentially it's not affecting anything that's going on with the range of the truck, even when it's empty. As I was mentioning before, it's going to have the same things you're going to see on most truck campers. It has a shower outside here. This is a propane heater, or excuse me, a propane tank. We can use this for both heating for hot water and for the hot water for the shower or for the sink. But what's unique about this setup you're going to see here is we're very diverse in our energy. We can do anything by electric, by either what we're producing from the camper, or if we want to use the power from the Cybertruck, we can do the same thing. So it's very versatile and very capable where most, look, I've been in the truck camper world for a long time. I've driven truck campers in Iceland. I've owned F450s with big 5,000-pound truck campers with 3 slides. So I've been around the block. I have a lot of experience doing different things. And this is just a unique way of doing things. And again, some people don't know much about it, but that's why I'm here today to show you how this thing works. Oh, really cool feature. So anyone that does camping in a truck camper, a lot of times you'll have the jacks. We've removed the jacks. So the jacks are normally here. We remove them because it just, I think it looks cooler. The range is a little bit better. And since this thing is so light and doesn't affect range, we really just leave the truck on. I live in Colorado. Everywhere I drive, I got a bathroom, a sink, a toilet, and a bed. But one cool thing, or when you're sleeping, an issue I should say, is when being on flat ground. I go inside the Cybertruck, I push camp mode, and the vehicle auto levels. So you can't see both sides at the same time, but since it's pitching towards the ocean, we're up a little higher on this side, and we're lower on the opposite side. All 4 tires will operate separately and get you perfectly level. So when you're sleeping, blood isn't rushing to your head, and it's comfortable. We also air down. So the tires, again, every truck is different. It depends on how heavy. The camper here is about, I would say 1,400 pounds empty, dry. It's probably 1,700 pounds full with all the stuff. And the capacity of the Cybertruck is 2,500 pounds. So we're several hundreds of pounds, maybe 500 pounds less. When we did come out here though, we did air down. So I'm at about 30 PSI. A lot of people go down a little bit lower, but I had been out here once before. I could just tell by the flex and the puffiness of the tire. And we cruised around out here today. I'm like floating on the sand, barely touching the pedal. Okay, the pop-up itself. This is an insulated fabric. And so, again, living in Colorado, we go out in 10 degrees, we'll winterize the camper, have no water inside, but it has winter windows and it's insulated, and we'll camp, and we'll either use electric heat or gas heat. Last thing I think I haven't showed you here, this is just your standard, I don't have the key, but all this is your city water and your fill. So I can either put 20 gallons of fresh water in or hook to a garden hose in at someone's house or at an RV site, just like you normally would with any camper. We come around the back, standard LED light in the back. You can actually see the Starlink we have going on in the back. We can either run that two ways. We can either use it by AC. So by AC power, we usually can get about 50 feet away. If we're using DC power, it's when we're usually just gonna throw it up on the roof or where you see it here. At the moment, we have it portable, but we could mount it eventually. We have another camper that we use, so we've just been bouncing it back and forth. So you could have certainly mount it, but for now, we just have it connected. We just have this here today. We have 2 refrigerators. So we've been running this camper for weeks on just the solar system that's on the roof, which is 400 watts of thin film solar. And these 2 refrigerators, the lights, the fans, everything has just been running. We have it sized so perfectly that the solar array on the roof can accommodate all our needs. We don't really ever have to use any power from the Cybertruck to do it. This is the pigtail here that goes to your 7-pin connector, standard truck camper. And I dabbled on this before, but we tend to just leave this on. But if you wanted to take the truck off, it's a 15-minute process. If you have all 4 jacks on, which again, you can drive around. If you wanted to leave them on all the time, you could. I just, like I said, like the look of it. You take a drill, you hook it to the top of the jack, and in a minute or less, you'll get every jack down. Inside, you just undo. There's 2 straps basically going like this that attach to the L track that's inside the pickup truck bed. So it's really cool. On most truck campers, you either see tie downs or straps or whatever. Here, everything's nice and clean. You have no idea. You hop inside, you undo those straps. You come out here, you lift the truck up, drive out. And so then it functions completely like it was when it was on the camper. If you wanted to drop it off at the campsite or just stay in it permanently, you could do so. Whenever you want to come back, you back in, lower it down, go inside, tighten the straps, you're golden. This is the 6-gallon hot water. This is just the vent for the hot water heater that's inside. This is a storage compartment. We can open this up. This storage compartment is filled to the gills, but we have basically everything you could possibly imagine: extension cords, bungee cords. I also, since it's an electric vehicle and we travel all over the country and go off into the middle of nowhere, we need to be able to survive under any circumstance. And so I have every single adapter that you could possibly imagine to plug into anything in order to grab electricity. But don't worry about this much, because if you don't know anything about the Tesla Supercharging system, which basically is just when you go on the computer up front, it'll just tell you where to go, how to charge, and they are everywhere. On every highway in the entire United States, major highway across the entire country, there's probably a charging station within 40 miles. If you're not driving EVs, you don't really notice that, but I'm telling you, they're everywhere. It's not a problem. Or what people don't understand is that every campsite in America that has 30 and 50 amp service is a gas station for me. So we'll travel for days, weeks at a time, and then that one night you want to whip into a campsite and maybe just get a really hot shower from the paid service that they have there. You plug into the 50 amps, 30 amps. By morning, the camper batteries could be fully charged, the truck battery is fully charged, and you're ready to go. So you're not running out of power. You can take this into the middle of nowhere where campsites are located and go. One last thing I forgot to mention, this is the Starlink outlet that I have. In this case, it's the AC port. This is a little odd. I will probably wind up changing this. We have this little 3-port thing, so we either can go to a DC 12 volt. This is USB, which we've been having some problems with because not all of them have enough voltage to do what it needs to get done. I also am noticing there's some resistance in this wire, so when we're doing certain things, it would be better to have a cleaner. I think what happens is somehow the electricity doesn't flow through this wire as easily as other things, but for us, this AC port is awesome, or the camper has the ability. I have a 12 volt to 20 volt up. It's it's not an inverter, a converter, right? It's taking from 12 volts to 20, runs the Starlink, no problem. Here's the steps, pretty self-explanatory. These are accordion style, so it'll just close up like this. We'll throw it right here when we're not using it, when we're closing the door of the pickup truck. Here's your typical screen, typical deadbolt lock. It's insulated. You know, you have this little sliding thing that if you just want to have the screen all by itself. As a deadbolt, like I said, your regular lock. There's our cool, our cool new sticker for our site, the Cyber Phoenix. And I guess we can hop inside. So it's nice too, regardless of whether the level, since it's accordion style, it really does sort of balance to whatever the ground level is. You got to watch your head here. It's a little low, but I'm 6'1" and can get in here pretty easy. So this thing's pretty small. This truck camper is on a 6-foot bed, okay? We're 6-foot bed with a little bit of overhang over the Cybertruck, but then we're also with the tailgate down. So we're gaining about 2 feet of tailgate space. But this is a small truck camper. This is like on the lower end. Like I said before, I used to have a F450 dually with an 8-foot bed and the tailgate down. The thing was a beast. This is going, we went from living in a mansion to being a lot smaller, but for my wife and I cruising around, it has literally every comfort of home that you would normally need. So, and by the way, if you want the company that builds these, if you want any of these things different, like if you wanted this to be an induction cooktop, you could certainly do that. And we have enough battery and solar to do that. But in this case, since this is the first one, we started off with propane. You have a sink. Again, it's tied to the 20 gallons of fresh water. These are your typical compartments. We're probably going to build these out a little bit with some shelving and so forth. But you have all your pots and pans and knives and forks and glasses and so forth. These are, I don't know if these are Corian or not, but it's definitely a solid countertop. Again, I know that they sell these in different colors and stuff like that. This is the first 2 lights on the ceiling that are all LED. This controls the lights on the ceiling. This is for the actuators that lift and lower the pop-up portion. They're on a dead man switch. They don't want you pushing the button and you forget to undo a latch or something and then damaging something. So it takes about 1.5 minutes to go. You can hear the sound. I can't obviously go all the way down because we got everything open here, but you get the idea. That's up and down. What's really nice about this is that you can short this thing. So this thing fits in any parking garage. We've literally went into a parking garage and camped inside the parking garage. So we fit in really easy, but then we wanted to lift it up, but there were sprinkler heads and things like that, so we raised it maybe 3/4 of the way up as opposed to all the way, but it gives you that luxury. If you were camping and there was a big branch or something, you could go a little lower. Here's your fuse panel, typical 12 volt. I won't open it up, but you get the idea. Down here on your left-hand side, this is your propane CO detector. This is your toilet. This is an OGO toilet. There's 2 types. One really fancy version that has motors and vents and things. This is the basic, I think it's called don't quote me on this, but I think it's a Nomad. This thing's fantastic. I have to say, I never was into composting toilet. The last 2 campers we had have these. I'd never go back. It uses no water. It does not smell. It's easy to dispose of. And considering how small a space, complete home run. This is the refrigerator. I call this the cyber fridge. When I saw a refrigerator that was also aluminum, stainless steel looking, I'm like, well, we have to get this thing. It's a dual zone refrigerator. It's really, first of all, it's very high quality. It works really well. You can basically, this is I think it's called APL 32 or 35. And you can make it all refrigerator, all freezer, or half and half. Very efficient in economy, in eco mode. You can go online and read the data. It's one of the top of the lines. It's made by Iceco. Highly recommend. This is your propane heater. Again, we sometimes use this. Sometimes we just use electric heating. But at times that we have used this in the teens or lower in Colorado with the wind blowing, I was in here in shorts and a t-shirt, and this thing was easily doing it. And the propane usage was very, very limited. It was just sipping propane. This compartment here, again, we use any place we have extra storage, of course we stick things in, but this is the 6-gallon hot water heater is there. This is, again, just a storage area. One really cool feature we're gonna show you here. We're gonna open, so this little, what you're seeing here, this little fabric here is Velcroed in. This is actually going, now you're looking in the bed of the Cybertruck, and that is the 240 volt and the 120 volt outlet. So the one outlet here in the bottom, you literally could run welders, you could do anything. You could charge any EV in the world. If someone was run out of power, I could pull up next to them, plug into that and charge them. But in this case, we created a plug, we ran the wire up, and this outlet is right here. So it's in white. So all the other outlets that you see all run on the system of the camper, but this one runs on the power of the Cybertruck. And so I have 20 amps of 120 volt power right there, or I also put in a USB-C, USB-A, whatever it is. And so you have the ability to, if you wanted, to use Cybertruck power. And so one great example of this is, once again, in the Rocky Mountains, in freezing cold temperatures, we have a portable electric heater. So we can put that on the counter. We only do this when we know if we have so much battery power left in the Cybertruck that we don't have to worry about it. Why use propane when we can just use the power from the Cybertruck, because we can go back home or go to a charging station and charge it back up. So another great thing too for anyone that does camp, when you start going in cold temperatures and using propane, you get a lot of moisture and so forth. So electric heating is just the best because it dries out the air. You don't get a lot of moisture on everything. And in our case, we're saving that propane in case there's an emergency or for a day where we don't have the ability to use it. Right over here is this is your hot water switch to turn the hot water on. Obviously, we don't have it on. We have these everywhere, your typical USB-C and A plugs. And for instance, this one didn't even exist. So when I show you the Victron system we have, this didn't exist, but the refrigerator that was outside, we brought an extra one because we're camping for so long. We wanted to bring enough food where we could have one refrigerator one acting like a fridge and one acting like a freezer. So again, normally we don't do this, but when you're gone for 35, 40 days, we wanted to bring two things. Well, this didn't exist. I drilled a hole, bought a little 12 volt plug adapter from Amazon. All the battery system is here. We have a manifold. So anytime you want to update anything, you just hook to the manifold. It has a well, matter of fact, we might as well show you this right now. So in my opinion, there is no better system than Victron Energy. This is a 12 volt, 3000 watt inverter multi-plus. We have, like I said, there's a manifold there, there's a disconnect, there's a Servo GX, if you know what that is. This is also storage, by the way. That's why we're very much into supplementation. And so we take our vitamins and we store them in there. But if you can get in here with the camera, you'll see the Servo GX. And so if you know anything about Victron Energy, that is sort of the brains behind everything. And for instance, the propane tank that I have, we installed a Bluetooth monitoring system that gives exact propane levels. If I flick over here, you'll see the levels of both my propane and water are right here. And so this is hooked to my phone. If they're going low, I can get a text message or an email. Everything on this thing is super high tech and will monitor things and notify you when things are getting low. Now down at the bottom too, I think I might have mentioned this already, but there are 400 amp hours of lithium Victron Energy batteries. They have the best energy density and lowest weight, I'm pretty sure, than any other battery on the face of the earth, at least currently at this moment. So between these batteries and the solar, we have this so well balanced that, like I was looking before, we're at 100% battery now, but anything we do, it doesn't venture anywhere past 70% maybe. At worst case, it'll stay there. Let's go to the other side. I mentioned before, I'll put this pillow back over here. And by the way, this table right here lowers down. You can see those little handles. It lowers down and it'll go to these 2 points, and then this converts to a bed. So not only are you sleeping 2 adults here, but you could sleep 1 adult over where the dinette is, or you could have 2 kids, I would argue. But it also makes a nice spot. Like 4 adults can sit here, have a few drinks, laugh, play cards, have dinner. There's enough space in this little area. If you go really crazy, you can take the table off and pull out this drawer, which again, there's so many things to talk about. It's hard to remember them all. So this is also a huge dry storage area. So this goes all the way in. pulls all the way out. You can bring this into the house and fill it with all your stuff if you like, but it's a great storage area. But if you took this out and you flip this over and had the table removed, the bottom of this is a shower pan. And so you stand in here, there's a shower curtain that is underneath the bed that hooks to all these hooks. There's also water up to this point, which I'll show you in a second. And basically you can stand in here and take a shower. Now, there's also a shower outside. So if you just wanted to throw in some shorts or you're in the middle of nowhere, you could do your thing. But you have, this little thing literally has 2 showers. Okay, if we're gonna take off this side, same thing. This is gonna have a little bit of storage on the other side here. You can see we'll put a couple different items there. This is our MPPT solar charge controller. You can see this is the 20-gallon tank of water. As a matter of fact, you can see the valve I told you about, that floating valve that I installed myself is mounted right there. That wire goes to that Servo GX, and then we can monitor it on that display. This is just a water filter. I'm just very particular, as you see, about the vitamins and things. We also concerned about drinking clean, fresh water. So this is a very high-tech filter that's in here, and so we'll hook this to any water supply, and we'll fill the camper with water that we know is very, very clean. All right. Oh, one thing we didn't show you just yet is the bed, of course, is not a queen. It's slightly smaller. My wife and I are sort of been accustomed to sleeping on king-size beds our whole lives, our whole marriage. But for what this is, it's really not that bad. I'm 6'1", my son is 6'3". My son will fit on here from left to right. So if you're tall, you can fit. So under here, I lift this up, is another storage area. So obviously this is the area that's over top of the back seats of the Cybertruck. But this, my wife likes to put all her clothing in here. So it's perfect for her. And it's, you know, a huge benefit to have all this storage in such a small space. We have an exhaust fan here. This is just, you know, forward and reverse. It has a temperature control, pretty standard information. Now this is silly, it isn't that big a deal, but my wife sewed these things with some Velcro. Since the roof is sort of like a Velcro-ish top, we just built these things. If you have a phone like this, and you're sitting at dinner and you want it out of the way, or you want to take your glasses, and we do the same thing over the bed. So in the middle of the night, you wake up and you need your glasses or your phone or keys or whatever the heck it is. You have these little pockets, but that's just a little silly thing my wife made. The windows. All right, so check this out. I think this is one of the best. As I mentioned to you already, this is all insulated for winter, but these are winter windows as well. And so everything's Velcro. And so if it's windy out, if it's cold out, but you still want to see, you can just put the winter window, you can close it up like that and you can still see out and you're not freezing. On the other hand, if you just want to be in the dark here and not everyone's seeing, be incognito mode, you can do this. And you also can short this. So if you want a little bit of, a lot of times at nighttime, we want a little bit of fresh air. We'll put the fan on so you get a little bit of air drawing through, and so you can short these in any way you see fit to control the light or the wind. What else is there? These are the actuators that lift the camper. There's 3 of them. They lift this thing rather easily. Even like I said, the solar panels really don't weigh that much. There's not that much up there, but they're pretty effective just with 3 of them. And we were commenting earlier that a lot of places have a 3rd or 4th one here that sort of gets in the way. Phoenix Pop-Up decided, they've been in this business for 40 years, that they basically know what they're doing, and they designed it where you have far better access.
Ed, thank you very much for taking the time today to give us a tour of this awesome truck camper. You know me, I geek out in this stuff. I've seen your last truck camper, and that thing was incredible. What's it like going from like a full-size truck camper down to something like this? Is it really more freedom?
Well, it takes some getting used to. Like anything in the world, I think there's pluses and minuses to everything. Like that truck had 41-inch tires. It was a dually that we changed to super singles. It had 3 slides. It weighed 5,000 pounds. It was 13 feet tall, so you're worried about going under bridges. When you would get somewhere, there was lazy boys and whatever. So like when you'd get somewhere, it'd be a lot of headaches to getting around, or fuel consumption and maintenance and whatever. And so this is definitely a lot smaller, but it comes with a lot less headaches, less maintenance. The electricity obviously is cheaper in most cases than the diesel fuel or electric. It also fits everywhere. I don't have to worry about running into bridges. I don't have to worry. I can go into parking garages. I can go into people's garages. We can park on the street and no one sort of notices. Now, granted, with this truck, it's a little bit of a, it's more noticeable than, say, a regular standard F-150.
Yeah,
but
we were talking off camera, and you were just trying to get in here,
right,
and air it down, and you had a whole crowd of people.
For sure. So
out.
Everywhere we go, what I've just done, I don't go to this much detail, of course, but every stop is a 10-minute, and we don't mind doing it because A, we love the technology and we love the truck, and I am connected to the person who's building these things, so we have a little relationship there. But no, it's a new way of doing things. Nothing wrong with the old way. This is what I tell people too. People are very entrenched in their beliefs that they want to do this or that. First of all, this camper, you could have it built and put on your gas truck or your diesel. I don't care. I have no attachment. Do whatever you want. It's a free country, and everyone has their idea of what's a good time. As a matter of fact, some people don't even like being in campers. Sometimes they only stay in 5-star hotels. So everyone has their thing, and God bless them. That's what makes the world go round.
And for people talking about the term boondocking, well, this is boondocking.
Right.
There's no water, there's no electricity, there's nothing out here. You got to be self-contained in order to be out here overnight.
And we've always been like that. I mean, we'll whip into an RV site once in a while, but if we go out 100 times, 99 of them are being in nature. We don't want to be, again, there's people that love RV parks. That is not the way we enjoy life. This, what you see here, the ocean sounds, the sand, and just being enjoying my wife and our company with each other is what we do.
Well, this is fantastic. Now, you're also a YouTuber. You have some YouTube videos of your travels. Maybe that's something that we want to put in the description.
Yeah, please. So everything is under the heading of Cybertruck 1, and 1 is spelled O-N-E, not the number. Yeah, so you'll see everything from updates. We're also building another camper that's literally a rolling charging station. It's from Australia. It's really cool. It's called a Fusion Hyper Camper. But we've gone to many national parks. We're always doing crazy stuff, going to Grateful Dead concerts at the Sphere, whatever it is. And much of it is about so far has been about the vehicles themselves, but we're breaking out. The whole point of this is we're going to start going out more and more and going out to nature and showcasing this. And you'll certainly see that on some of the sites, especially the stuff we've done in Colorado or Burning Man or Utah. I mean, I've been to Burning Man 15 times in a row, been out there with the Cybertruck, have not done it with this yet. Might do it this year. We'll have to see what happens. But yeah, Cybertruck 1, we're on X, we're on YouTube. We have a website also called cybertruck01.com. So cybertruck01.com. It'll bring you to everything that we've been doing, as well as the social media sites.
And if anybody wants to know like pricing to this, is that something I could put in the description?
Of course. So I will just be honest with you. This stuff, doing sort of one-off high-tech versions of this, like if you just had an F-150 and you wanted the same thing, the prices would be a little cheaper. But these have to be custom crafted. The aluminum is expensive, but we're in the 50s.
I appreciate the opportunity. I could walk this stretch of beach for hours.
Right.
I'm sure I'll bump into a lot of other cool campers, but this one really catches my eye, and I enjoy how passionate you are about it.
Well, I want to thank you too. You know, we've met a couple times back in the day, and when I had that old truck, and when I came back to Jersey, I'm like, I got to give him Patrick a call and see if you wanted to check it out. I figured you'd be interested. So this is great. My wife and I are out going to enjoy ourselves for the next 3 days, and I'm grateful and thankful that you were willing to come out here and join me.
Awesome. Well, this is Patrick in the Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us.